So you want to know the truth about how to get rich in Guild Wars 2? I'm Surma, and today I want to explain to you how the richest players in Guild Wars 2 make gold. Without much further ado, let's jump right in. So let's start by discussing the state of the economy. Guild Wars 2 has been now out for, at the time of this recording, over 12 years. And it still has a really well-balanced economy. Why is that? ArenaNet tries to develop strategies when you're releasing new items, new materials, that you still have some kind of need for old ones, or that you have to sell them on the trading post, and therefore the market balances itself. How is that done? There are multiple ways. For example, not a lot of stuff in game rewards you with liquid gold, so not raw gold. It's more like you get materials that you then sell, and by selling this to other players, you have to pay a listing fee and a transaction fee. And this will result in some liquid gold leaving the economy again. And of course, legendaries and stuff also is a huge gold and material sink. But why is that important? That's important because for them, they make a lot of money using the transaction store. So what does that mean? It's in their interest to have an economy that is really stable, because if they didn't have that, they would have problems making money. So a huge amount of the money, the real money, ArenaNet makes is by selling gems. Gems is the premium currency in Guild Wars 2. And with this premium currency, you can also buy gold. But it's also the other way around. So you can buy with gold premium currency. It's really well balanced. And this balances the market to some extent, because if, for example, the gold prices go up, the gem prices are also changing. And it gets more lucrative to transform gems into gold or gold into gems, depending on the current situation. If you then go one step further and not only think about how ArenaNet makes gold, but also think about how people make gold, then ArenaNet tries to, let's say, balance those gold making methods in a way that it's still always lucrative for people to spend real money. And that's the key issue here. So all in-game farms have a secret cap, and this cap is at 20 gold or something per hour. This does only include the 24/7 farms that you can do. So for example, Dragonfall and fishing or something like that. That's always rather well balanced around the 20 to 25 gold per hour mark. Even if you do really, really well executed farming strategies, it's most of the time in this regime, which is obviously quite good for someone that does not get a lot of gold, but stuff like that is daily kept is often really way higher. For example, fractals give you 40 to 50 gold per hour if you do them daily, but you can only do it once per account. So that's another way of balancing it. Before I get to my real 3 ways how people make gold in Guild Wars 2 and they get really rich with it, I want to disclaim here that I don't mention specific farms because of that reason. Because specific farms that you can do 24/7 are kept by ArenaNet around this 20 to 25 gold mark. Okay, so you keep that please in mind before I go to the next thing. Now let's get to the real business. So the solution to circumvent this is to do something that not a lot of people can do, you know? So everyone can do, for example, Dragonfall if they have the living story unlocked. But let's get to the first point. The first point is just get good at the game. Because if you're better at the game, you can do stuff that other people can't do. What do I mean by that? There are 2 prime examples for that. First one would be PvP. If you do PvP tournaments, you actually get quite a lot of gold, just liquid gold and mystic coins, for example, for doing 1 hour or so of a tournament. And if you win it, you get a lot of gold. That's even more so in weekly or monthly ATs. You get a lot of gold. You get up to, let's say, 700 gold, even more, for maximum 3 hours of participating. Of course, not everyone will win. Only a small amount of people will win. But if you can do this and do all of the weeklies and daily even tournaments, you get a lot of gold. And another part where you can get really rich by just being good at the game is, for example, raid or strike mission selling. So you will do with a really good group, you low man a boss and just have 1, 2, 3, even more slots filled by possible buyers that will stay dead the whole run and then give you a lot of mystic coins most of the time. for the, let's say, participation they get, and then they will get either the kill of the strike or raid boss, or even some special titles. This is really lucrative. Of course, not a lot of people can do that because you have to be able to lowman a really hard fight most of the time. But if you can do that, you get a lot of money. So you have to think about it like this. If you are really good at something, you can get a lot of money just by doing it, because your demand of your, let's say, what you are doing is way higher than what the supply is. It's really important to understand. And while I'm now talking about all demand and supply and stuff, I get to the second point, which is even more lucrative than the first point I made, which is trading post. The trading post is really amazing in this game. You can do a lot of stuff with it. But what do I mean? You can make a lot of gold manipulating the trading post. This does not mean manipulating the market. Of course, if you can do that, that can be really valuable as well. But I'm talking about easy stuff that is just not for a lot of people. That might be boring to most of us, which is flipping. So you buy low and sell high, or you do investment. If you can buy stuff at a cheap price and wait for months, even years, and sell it on a higher price. If you can do that, you can make a lot of money as well. So the trading post is a really lucrative thing, but of course not a lot of people will like it, because it's a little bit more like a simulation or a spreadsheet analysis. It's not like really playing the game, but you can make a lot of gold. It's very easy if you invest some time and research into it to make 200 gold plus an hour, which is even higher than doing the raid or strike mission selling, where you can get, I would say, around 200 or so gold for one boss. But of course, that's not scalable that easy. So you can't say I will do it for 5 hours a week. But you get my point. And trading post can really be, you can do it 24/7 most of the time if you have a really good strategy, and can make up to 500 gold or something per hour if you do know what you're doing. So it's extremely lucrative. Before I continue, I would like to tell you that only a small percentage of you are subscribed. So if you enjoy this video and want to help me and my channel, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you want to support me even more, check out my YouTube or Patreon memberships and receive some fancy special benefits. Now back to the video. Now to my last point, which is a really hot take, but it's the truth. You watch this video just because you want to hear the truth. This is the truth. If you want to get really rich in Guild Wars 2, one of the best ways to get rich is just to spend real money. The game is designed like that. You can buy gems in the real world for real money. And the game by Arena is designed like that it's always the best option to do this, because you can then get gold using the gems that you bought. If you, and that's really, let me do some calculation here. If you do work even for just the minimum wage in US, for example, you get a little bit over $7 per hour. In Germany, it's even higher. It's 12 euro per hour. But let's stick for, let's say, easy calculation with the US one. You can get 8,000 gems for $100 US. And therefore, you get 580 gems per hour. If at the current prices, this means around 175 gold per hour, just by using your real money. Which means you can just do the job that you would normally do and spend this to buy gold. And then you can play the game for what you like and don't have to farm gold. Thing is, this does not include taxes, of course, so if you have to pay taxes, it might be lower. But at the same time, probably a lot of you viewers have higher than minimum wage. So your salary might be a lot higher, and therefore you get a lot more for working 1 hour and then spending the money on Guild Wars 2. Because to reach the threshold to make more gold in-game than you would do for if you work a real job is really high. Not even raid sellers will achieve that. The only thing that can rival that is the trading post, if you know what you're doing and you have researched a lot. And you have to be aware that this work that you do for the trading post might be a really big pain in the ass for people. so it might not be really fun to do. So always think about that. These are the ways where you can get rich in Guild Wars 2. If you want to know what I did, be sure to subscribe, because I will make a gold guide about how to manipulate the trading post. That's how I make my money. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content from me, like I said, be sure to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.